Hello and welcome to Bloke on the Range. Now what could possibly be better than a 50 cal Friday? How's about that? 455 Friday. Here we got 3 different 455s. I make that 1,365, so that's got to be 20 times better than 50 cal Friday. Not only that, we have possibly the single largest collection of 455 ammunition ever to feature on YouTube. Now what is it we've got here? Well, we've got a 1918 dated Webley Mark 6, we've got a Colt New Service, and we've got a Smith & Wesson hand ejector second model with the small underlug. Now what are we going to do today? Well, we've got a bunch of shooters. We've got myself, we've got Bloke Senior over there on the right. You may wave. We have, second from the left, we have Nick, who you may recognise from earlier videos. To his left, as you're seeing it, Nick Jr. And on the other side, Nick Senior. Now what we're all going to do here is shoot a few rounds single action and double action at a realistic range of 10 metres, 11 yards, and see what we think of them. Now Nick Jr. here wants to start his own YouTube channel, so we're going to give him a go with playing with the camera and filming. Alright?
Yeah, perfect.
Now these 3 are the main British service revolvers from the late World War I period, so we'll see which we think is best. Now ammunition wise today, we've got some hand-loaded 265 grain hollow bases that approximate the Mark II load in normal length cases, and we've got some factory Dominion, so Canadian made 455 Colt plated in longer Mark I length cases. Just put 6 rounds in, give it 3 single action, 3 double action. So that's the Smith & Wesson target. That's the Webley. And that's the Colt.
Yeah, I think we noticed there's a difference in the spread. The Colt has a bigger spread than the others, but the foresight is more difficult to see. It's more grey, and once you're looking on the black, it disappears more or less altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You mean
Whereas the other two,
the
other two are much
Smith
better.
& Wesson, Dad, not the Colt. This is
Yep.
the Colt. That's the Smith &
This is
Wesson.
Smith & Wesson. Yeah, this one anyway.
It definitely has the worst sights of the lot. It's got extremely fine little sights that are quite hard to pick up. We think it's the most accurate in principle of all of them, and its single action triggers almost certainly the best, but because the sights are fine, if you don't pick them up right, it struggles. Now we have the core of the group there, and remember that we've got 3 experienced shooters and a novice shooting. The
Take
core
that.
of the group is exceptional, but then there's flyers.
Compare that to that. There's not a bullseye on the Webley.
Yeah, the Webley,
Not one bull.
the Webley is generally shooting
A bit high.
a little bit high. The core group is wider, but there's less flyers.
Spread.
The spread's not really okay. There's a couple off on the left there. The Webley's the most comfortable to shoot.
Yeah.
The Smith & Wesson, the grip is very narrow at the back, and it bites you. And the if you don't tuck your thumb away, the cylinder release catches your thumb. It bites quite hard.
I found the Webley the most comfortable.
Yeah, Webley for recoil
Smoothest.
control is definitely the smoothest. The Colt surprised me. This was surprisingly bad. With the Smith and Wesson, I was plugging them in the Bull and the 9 without really much thought. Whereas the okay, we haven't got any major flyers here, but the core of the group is quite is quite wide. And to be honest, I was expecting the two solid frame revolvers, the Smith and the Colt, to be pretty much the same accuracy wise, but it's just not the case. The double action is better on the Colt than the Smith, and in fact the double action on the Webley is better than on this Smith, but the Smith is the more inherently accurate.
The Webley doesn't catch on the double action either.
Yeah.
It's more smooth than,
I found the double action harder on the Colt than the Webley.
because you feel the catch as well.
I
You don't on the Webley.
had 2 misfires.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Might be the ammo.
It's probably hard primers and old springs.
Could be.
But this
with
is
all three.
they're all adequately accurate. They're all combat accurate, and even Bloke Senior, the novice, would not have failed to connect with any of those shots, even the double action ones.
And how do you know that that bull isn't mine?
Quite. So overall recoil management. I mean, my view is that the Smith bites the worst.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Webley is the most comfortable, and the Colt is somewhere in between the two.
Absolutely right.
Pointability, so how naturally it sits in the hand and points.
Webley.
Webley
first.
yes.
Webley first.
Yeah.
Then I think I'd say the Smith, because
Yeah, me too.
that Colt grip is kind of
Too smooth.
rounded and too smooth. The
It
Colt,
slides in your hand on the recoil too.
yeah. And we noticed that there were some sticky extractions on the Colt. In fact, as I mentioned, we had a couple of stiff extractions on the Colt, and a major advantage of the Webley is that you've got far more leverage to extract muddy, khaki, nasty cases. So it even has that going for it. And this one, ergonomically, this one is just
It's very nice, isn't it?
is just much better, and it's got a short, reasonably heavy pull, and it just sits in the hand well and points. And because of the shape of the grip, it doesn't bite, whether you hold it old-fashioned low or modern high like that. It's just, I think generally, if I had to choose one of the three, I think I'd take the Webley.
I'd go with the Webley.
Yeah.
Weight-wise, they're all about the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say so.
They're all big, large frame
The Smith
revolvers.
is probably the heaviest.
Not a lot in it. Possibly, but there's just not a lot in it, really.
I thought the Colt was the heaviest.
You think?
The one that felt.
Oh, the Colt's heavier, actually. The Colt is heavier, so we dislike the Colt the most, I think.
Yeah.
Unanimously.
It's the ugliest too.
Well, you'll get the fanboys on us for that.
Edit that bit out.
Doesn't have the elegant lines of the Webley, that shaped barrel, and yeah, nice grips. It's simple, very fast to open and extract, much faster than the Colt probably. Although if you're used to it, probably not. Yeah, it's got to be the best.
The extra inherent accuracy of the Smith & Wesson, it's wasted at these kinds of distances anyway, and the fact that it bites you and you're having to think about where you tuck your thumb so that it doesn't get bitten by that, I think that's it.
Conclusive.
It's not just British bias then, it's
Well, we did live in Birmingham, didn't we? So we have a bias towards BSA.
so there you go. Unanimously, the best late First World War British service revolver is in fact the Webley Mark 6. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, join us again sometime on Bloke on the Range. Bye!
No World War I reunion would be complete without the ubiquitous SMLE. Here's a 1904 example. Very nice. Let's shoot.